Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's get into the Housewives of Miami, season 7, episode 3. So, y'all, first off, like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. It's your boy Paul. So let's get down to the mess of the mess. And we know, Housewives of Miami always giving us good tea. And this episode is called the worst wedding ever. And baby, it wasn't even a wedding. They went down to the courthouse. But let's get off. It started, it's 3 days earlier. So, they just show the ladies doing different things, y'all. But we got Alexis and Frank. So Alexis and Frankie ended up going because Alexis plans to do a wedding party celebration for Marisol and her and Steve. I want to say his name, Steve, right? So I think that's who her husband is, Steve. I think that's his name. So that's who she want to do. She gonna do it at this restaurant, at this place that she and Todd goes to, and she was reminiscing. I said, this girl's so delusional. I don't know why she wants this man so much. But I said, I don't think, how long has Alexis been single? Like, really been single? Because it's like, she has a lot of trauma. But, that's just Alexis. So, as she meet up the friend who actually owned the place. And they talking and chit-chatting. And she asked about how her and Todd doing. She went, it's going okay and whatever. You can tell that Frankie over him. Frankie over Todd. Frankie don't give a damn about that man. Frankie, when he moved out. Frankie was like, when she explained that, he moved out and everything. Frankie went, yeah. He just left. Frankie over that man. I said, I don't think Frankie would care. Both of her sons, Frankie and Peter, neither one cared for that man. That man always showed you, Todd always showed you who he was from the beginning. But for some reason, she looked past it. But, it's what Alexis want to do. So during this time, she ended up calling Lisa, and Lisa is back in Canada, and Lisa ended up telling her that her dad passed and everything because she was inviting her to, to Marisol's surprise that she was doing for her, this little celebration wedding party. But she said her father passed. She's devastated and everything. She's reminiscing on things that she should have done prior. Instead of holding a grudge, she should have tried to fix it when her dad came to her and tried to rebuild. She said she's happy that her dad did get a chance to build a bond with his grandkids. As when they reconnected and everything. So, she told a little bit of that. So we move on past her. Let's get into Marisol. So Marisol is getting ready to get married, y'all. She get the makeup, do everything. She ended up telling us she was that her mom and her dad was there. They passed. I miss Marisol mom. Marisol mom was the best thing about her. The mom messed up her face. Too much plastic surgery. But you do what you do. But she was reminiscing wishing her parents could be and see her get married. But she said this is what caused her and Steve both feel like in Miami, in Florida, if just because you've been with somebody for so long, I want to say if you with this person, rest of your life, but if they pass away, you don't have access to anything. In case you need to help them or, to be the beneficiary, stuff like that. She said, but that's what made them go ahead and get married now. And she went, I'm also getting to that money. I said, shut up, man. So I'm getting to that money. So, they ended up getting ready. They got on a motorcycle and they went and got married. She was like, yes, we married now, and I got access to the money. I said, shut up, man. I actually gonna be honest. I've been enjoying Marisol this season so far. I said she's been very pleasing. I'll put it like that for right now. So we move on past that. Let's get to my girl Adriana. So Adriana meets up with Miss Julia, and they have a little chit chat, catching up, and Julia is a mess. Julia was like, I haven't. Why haven't you called me? Adriana said, "Girl, why have you called me?" I said, "I don't." A part of me, I said, when it comes to Julia, Julia was all. Julia, she's a pain. She's more of a pain than Gertie, Alexis, Adriana, and Mira. Oh, she more of a pain than Lisa. And we know Lisa is a pain. Her and Lord, she more of a pain than everybody else on this cast. And the thing that you want Adriana to call you, not because you got them babies. I don't care. It's still a phone two ways. So, they ended up making up and whatever. Adriana asked her, so Adriana had an issue. Adriana told her, like, why didn't you tell me about you adopting the boys? You adopting the boys because I was with you on the whole process. But you could have told me ahead of time before the group call, and also why haven't I met the boys? But Alexis have met them already. I said, girl, cause she's a petty bitch. I said that woman is two-faced. Two-faced. I understand why her and Martina are together because they act just alike. Martina has not. If you know her, Martina professionally as a tennis player, she is one of the best tennis players. Um, she's not kindly. Her views on things is not good, and it's not shocking that she ended up marrying Julia. It doesn't shock me. So Adriana asked her if she could throw a baby shower for her, and a baby shower for her. She said yes. So that's what happened there. So we can move on to Gertie. So Gertie and Kiki, went to go get stressed out. Because Gertie, since the breast cancer, everything, she get used to her body now. Getting stressed and everything really helps. She trying to know her new body and stuff and everything. Her and Kiki ended up having a little chit chat where they talked about the ladies. So there was a get together where the ladies, Kiki tell her that the ladies talked about her, saying they don't like the way Gertie acts and comes off. Um, that would make them feel a certain way, and that's why. Um, yeah, the ladies didn't like the way she was acting. Kiki tells that there was a girls' night that Alexis threw that she invited everybody but Gertie, and supposedly Kiki tell her what went down. That certain ladies were talking about her. Definitely Julia was talking about the trip they went on, the boat trip and everything, and what happened there. Gertie was like, okay. Gertie ended up. So in my notes I have Gertie and Julia both in the confessions end up telling their side of the story of going on a cruise and everything. I believe Gertie over Julia. Julia tried to make it out like Gertie was taking Martina's place. Then Gertie complained the whole entire trip about this, that, and the third, and that one of the nights on the trip, they were supposed to hang out with one of the stars from that Bravo's boat show, where you go on, rich people go on that show and travel for so many days across the seas or whatever. Yeah, one of the female captains was on there, and they were supposed to have dinner with her, and Gertie didn't invite she didn't know, not Gertie, Julia didn't invite Gertie to it, but Gertie ended up telling her side of the story and everything else. And I'm like, Gertie said, I already met the woman. I met the woman prior to going on a cruise, the first part of the cruise. Because Julia and them were going on the second part. Her and Martina. She went, I already met the woman, I already hung out with her. She went, me going to the thing wouldn't have been an issue. So, they tell both sides. Her and so as she was so Gertie and Kiki still talking. Kiki telling her, maybe you need to calm down, you need to back off just a little bit, And Gertie said, no, I'm gonna keep being me, 100%. Either you like it or you don't. And Kiki, let me just say this. The way you're acting, I said you trying to dumb yourself down for these women. These women, they not this color, girl. They this color. I said you dumbing yourself down because you think that these women have power and money, and some of them may have a little money. They may have status more than anything. And I said, you trying to make her dumb herself down. Gertie pull back and be more kinder to them when she shouldn't be. She keep being who she is. Gertie gets on people's nerves just like the rest of these heifers. But I said, they've been acting fake towards her. And she did nothing to them. And it's wrong. So let's move on past that. Let's get into the next thing. We move past them. We move on to... So we move on to Lisa. So Lisa is in Canada. She's with Jody. And, she telling us, she reminiscing about the past and stuff like that. But she got to speak in front of everybody at the funeral. She never did that. And, saying goodbye to her daddy and stuff like that. She went, she had regrets in which that she would have pushed past them regrets and try to fix the relationship when her dad came to her to try to fix it before he got ill. So let's move on past that. Let's get into Kiki. So Kiki, her mom and her daughter is so cute. She is only 5 or 4. So they go to this children museum. I want to say they sell different. They was every station they went through had a different ice cream. But all she wanted was chocolate. She said, chocolate, please. You got chocolate? Oh, no, we don't got chocolate. No, thank you. All that girl wanted was some chocolate. So they finally gave her some chocolate. Her mom and them finally got her some chocolate. But her mom and Kiki and her mom ended up talking. And they ended up talking about her father. She also moved her mom. She moved her mom here from Haiti. I want to say, yeah. She moved her mom here. So her mom lives here now with her and the kids. She talked to her mom about her dad because her dad is actually coming into town. And the mom telling her, they talking in Haitian. Her mom telling her, you need to honor your father. I said, that stuff is the dumbest thing in my life. I said, I don't like that. I don't care for that. This man threw her out at 16. At 16. Because she was modeling. But she wanna work on her relationship with her dad. So we move past that. We move on to Alexis' party. So this little surprise wedding celebration for Marisol and stuff like that. We got we got most of the ladies there because Lisa is out of town. So we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty, y'all. So we got Larson and Lexis. So she tells Uh, oh, so Larson and Lisa ended up having a conversation about Todd, and Lisa is waiting on Todd. Well, not Lisa. Alexis is waiting on Todd to make the decision on if she stay or go. Yeah, I said, girl, Lawson said, you crazy. Girl, you need to make that decision. So we move on to Marisol showed up and whatever. Her and her hubby showed up. Surprised to see everybody, her whole family there, her brother, her dad, her nephew, everybody that she loved and support. Both sides are there. His kids was there. Steven kids was there and everything. And she gonna ask the kids, you gonna call me mommy? They said no, we call you stepmom. I said, girl, ain't nobody gonna call you mommy. But moving on past that, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So let's get this over with, cause these people got on my last nerve. So we get down to the talent, to the juice of the thing. So all the ladies are together. They call. So Julia got an issue with Gertie. And so, they get into a back and forth where Gertie tells the truth. Gertie tells what went on the trip, on that boat trip. She went into detail and told that, this girl called me called me the day before her trip, and said that Martina couldn't make it, and I asked her why she wouldn't tell me. Said she'll tell me on the boat, but she never told me. So I went to these different events that we supposed to have and stuff like that. She ain't in one of the events I wasn't a part of. She told the truth about what went on. Julia trying to cut her off. Julia got mad at her at one point, and Julia threw a glass of water in this woman's face. That woman dressed face. I was mad as hell watching this. I said, I know, Gertie, you better get up and whoop her ass. I said, she not threw it on Gertie. She threw it on Kiki. Kiki was sitting right next to her, right before she got to Gertie. I said, oh, and she's standing over her trying to stop her from telling the truth. At this point, they arguing and everything. Everybody in their place looking like, oh my God. It was just ridiculous. Marisol was so embarrassed. And so she called Julia out. She said Kiki tried to get Gertie to leave with her because they don't want us there. Gertie said, I ain't going nowhere. Gertie said, I'm staying right here. So Kiki said, I gotta go. I got enough water thrown on me today. So she left, and Gertie continued. Gertie called her out. Gertie said, you need to talk about you going to get you a face. Well, she got either a facelift or injections. Why Martina was having chemo. I said, damn. She ain't like that one. She did not like that one. So after all the stuff that went on, Julia started to feel bad. Like, I can't believe I did that. Girl, don't play this victim part Karen bullshit now. You is a heifer. You straight up no down dirty gutter ass heifer. And I said, it's time for you and your wife to go. I said, please, don't bring them back next season. I said, their time is up. I said, you threw that water on that woman and then you want to play victim and you don't feel sorry for a damn thing you did. And then on top of that, she was acting a damn plump fool at the celebration prior to the whole incident that was getting ready to go down. Figure that out. But that's all that happened, y'all. Like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. It's your boy, Paul. I said, baby, I'm tired of Julia. Julia can go. Take her woman with her, too. Lying heifer.